ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदताम् ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter number 6, here, verse number 33. So this is description of killing of Putana by Balakrishna. So we read that how she died and smashed the big orchard of Kamsa, and then Nanda Maharaj, he came from Mathura and he saw that he was surprised and conjecturing what happened. Is it some mountain? Is it that I have been kidnapped and brought to some different place? Or is it some magic of some magician? Like that he was thinking. But then he also remembered how Vasudeva had sort of hinted that some calamity may befall on Vraja, so he go back quickly. So he was thinking that this Vasudeva must be some sage or great yogi because he has this vision, television, seen for. So now it continues to explain. Any question on the previous class?
Babaji Pranam.
Yes.
I guess it's not such an important question, but again, I was slightly, perhaps the mind was slightly disturbed when I heard the word Vinayaka there, because like in Mumbai, I think people call him Mangal Murthy, and I'm also a little bit confused. How can he be, how can people worship him so much, how can he be counted among Bhutas, Pretas, and so on? So that was.
Well, he has two sides. He is also called Vignesh, right?
Yes.
So what does it mean, Vignesh?
Removes the obstacles.
No. Come on.
Oh, okay, so he's a master
Make the Sandhi Vichcheda, Vignesha.
Yes, Esha, Vigna plus Isha, Vignesh, plus E-Esh.
So what does it mean?
It's the Lord of Vigna.
So what does it mean? If you are Lord of some people, that means they are under your control, you can send them. You can remove, you can pull them, and you can also send them. So this is what people do not know. They call him Vignesh or Vigna Vinayaka. And he is also called Vigna Vinayaka. Vinayaka means leader, right? Nayaka and Vinayaka. Same as Isha. What you say as Vignesha, that master of Vignas. Vinayaka means Vigna Vinayaka, same. So he has both sides. If you don't do things properly, then you get Vigna. And if you want to get rid of your Vigna, then you can also worship him, then he removes. So you should feel happy. Anybody else? Anything to say?
I have a question about here, Yaksha, Raksho, Vinayaka. So, Yaksha looks like a generic term. There are many Yakshas are there and only single stated here.
Right.
And the same thing with Raksha is also Rakshasa.
Right.
So Vinayaka also is same thing. There are many Vinayakas.
Yes.
In the categories.
Yes.
And he is the leader of that Vinayaka.
You got it right. So these are class of people, as we said earlier, the Putana, Shakani, Dakni, Yatudhani, Kotra, Revati. Revati is also there. Now you say, well, Revati is Balram's wife. That's different. It's also class of Grahas. Revati is also Nakshatra. The last one, Revati Tadanantaram, 27th or 28th, whichever line. It's called Revati. Okay. Yes.
Yes, yesterday we said that the practical application of the story is to look at the Damba hypocrisy inside us.
Yes.
The Sutana mentality. So practically, I mean, are there some criteria to help me to do some introspection?
Criteria? Of course.
Which are they?
You have to just see that what you say and what you do, are they matching or not? Otherwise you are being hypocrite. Right? If you say one thing to somebody and then you don't do it, that means you are tricking that person. That's why Bhagavatam began with Satyam Param Dhimahi. So Krishna is, the first prayer they made for Krishna was Satyavratam Satyaparam Tu Satyam Satyasya Yoni Nihitam Cha Satyam. So he is Satya and Dambha is opposite of that. Means you present yourself one way but you are different. Like Putana. So you have to see whether you are doing that or not. You will know it yourself. Isn't it? You think in your mind, and say, I'm going to tell this to this person, right? You go for a job, and then you write your CV, right? So you write so much. You can also copy from your neighbor's CV, put it in yours. So it's all right to get the job, but then you should deliver what is expected from you. So that's what is the introspection is. Just doing little chintana about your own self. We do a lot of thinking about others, like Putana story. Why Putana was a female? Why Putana was like this? Why Putana? So many questions, but we have to do if there is a Putana inside. Not if there is. There is. And Krishna comes. If you want Krishna, what does he do? First thing, kill Putana. So if you want Krishna, then we have to get rid of Putana, and he will help us. Right? Sarv dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja ham tvam sarv papebhyo. So this is the papa. So he says, I will mokshishyami, I will release you from all this. So if you want release from Putana, the impurities, hypocrisy, cheating, deception, then we have to surrender to Krishna, and we are very much accustomed to it, so we have to pray to him. That is the sadhana. So this Krishna story is starting like this, and then it goes up to Raslila, right? By that time, practically all the asuras are killed, isn't it? Maybe little more come, one or two after that, but most of them, they were removed by that time. By the time we come to chapter 29, right? So Bhagavan Apita Ratri Saradotfulla Mallika Viksharantum Manaschakre Yoga Maya Sama Samavrata? No. Ashrata. So that is when you actually have the rasa. So that is the practical application. See, there is Rishis, Vyasmuni, Shukdev, Acharyas, they all want to serve us pure devotion. But we are not qualified, we are not ready, so they then present it like this. Simple thing is like you read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is just juice of this book. That's what it is. In the very beginning he said Anyabhilashita Sunyam Gyan Karmadi Anavritam. Right? Gyan Karmadi Anavritam. Anyabhilashita Sunyam. So Putana was also doing Krishna Anushilnam, but Anyabhilashi. Right? She came to do Anushilan only, giving milk, but to kill him. So that is not bhakti. So we have to understand what is pure devotion. For that you have to understand what is not devotion. That's very important. So Jiva Goswami therefore does lengthy analysis in Bhakti Sandarbha and then in Priti Sandarbha. What is Priti Abhas? What is Priti? What is Priti Udgam, Prakat Udgam, Udayavastha? So many steps he shows just so that we can understand what is actually Uttama Bhakti, pure devotion. Because it is very difficult to understand. In our material relations, we always have some, what you call, string attached, something behind the scene. So here we have to become completely naked. And that is the stealing of Gopi's dress. So removing all the coverings of the Atma. These coverings are not coverings of bhakti, they are all coverings of the gunas of Prakriti. So sattvarajastamayati prakritir gunasti. So these prakritis of guna, this is what we are putting as dress. Right, even outside, inside, subtle body, gross body, and then all the covering outside, and then painting on top of that. Right? So many coverings. So all these coverings are to be removed. Then you reach the tattva. So that is what is being removed here. Not only of the asuras, but when it comes to devotees, he removes theirs also. Right? He removed the covering of gopis also. So up to that extent, there is purification. This is the gross one. That's why Putana is shown as gross, so big. Why? What is the meaning that it is so big? Because this dambha is very big in size. Hypocrisy is very big. Right? So that is the Putana size. That you want to burn, you have to cut her body into pieces. So that is the significance. But then we start doing research. Is it really true that Putana was that big? How is this possible? Because 6 miles, right? So if she is going to fall down from Gokula, she will reach Mathura. Almost. Because Gokula is not that far. Right? Because she flew also a few miles at least. So it would almost reach, unless she went into the wrong direction. Otherwise she should have fallen down in Mathura itself, on the palace of Kamsa. But then there will be problem, Krishna would be there. So she did the right thing. She did not put the cowherd people in trouble, otherwise Krishna would prematurely come to Mathura. Right? She would have flown to Mathura and dropped dead there. Then Krishna is already there. He says, come on, I went just a few days ago from here. He brought me back here. So she didn't do that. So anyway, the size, that is, so this is what Sahitya means. These are the type of questions which come all the time. How is this possible that this Aghasura was so big, and this Vrishbhasura, his hump was touching the clouds? How can some bull's hump touch cloud? Where was he walking? It means he has to walk, make sure there are no trees around. If you are so tall, it's a big problem to walk. Right? Many times tall people come, they have to always watch the doors here. They'll keep hitting their head. So that bull cannot go into any Goshala. He has to stay out in cold or heat. Who is going to build a Goshala that big? So we have to understand the significance of this.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
So, Balaji Maharaj, if everything is in Prakriti, if there is a view that someone has that at the Paramatmika level there is actually no injustice or no adharma, that dharma only exists. So if someone has a perception internally that everything is only related because of karma and there is no true anyaya or adharma, is that a proper view or an improper view?
No true adharma means?
as in everything is done according to one's karma. So if anything is happening, it's because of because of prarabdha karma. And so in the true sense, there is no injustice or there is no anyaya or nothing that is wrong. It is happening by the will of the Lord, and so.
No,
And then
it's not like that. See, we already talked about it, that you can talk about animals, not human beings. So therefore animals don't get any karma. If a lion eats a cow, then he does not get the sin of gohatya, killing a cow. Because he doesn't have the facility to think and make decisions like that. He is just following the prakriti. Sadrusam chestate swasya prakriti jnanvan. So he is not jnanvan, he is a jnanvan. He is completely following the prakriti. So human beings are special. That's why human birth has some significance. That here, although I have prarabdha karma and I will be put into a situation, but I also have the facility to acquire knowledge, think, make decisions, and try to avert situation. So there is purushartha also. And purushartha is to be given more importance than prarabdha. Because prarabdha is something which already happened. Cannot do anything about it. What you can do is purushartha, means your effort, your endeavor now. So this whole education is for that only, not for ahar nidra, bhai maithunam. That animals also do, other species also do. So that is the difference between human beings and others. So we have to learn what is dharma, what is adharma. That's why athato dharma jigyasa, athato brahma jigyasa, and this Vedanta is propagated for that purpose only. And that's why Jaimini says that the whole essence of Vedas is only in Vidhi. Means Veda is there, Balanam Anushasana. So Vedvadayam Balanam Anushasana. So Karmokshaya Karmani Vidhatte hi Agdo Yatha. So it is to discipline the Bala. Bala here means ignorant humanity, people in general. And it does vidhan, it gives injunction to do karma. Karmokshaya karmani vidhatte. So this vidhi which Jaimini is calling a chodana, that vidhi is for getting freedom from karma. So vidhatte hi agdo yatha, just like the doctor gives medicine. So like that it is a medicine to get rid of that. So that means we are supposed to know. So that's why Krishna says Gyatva Karma Vidhanokta. So Tasmat Shastra Gyatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartunihi Arhasi. That you have to understand Shastra Vidhan. Same word Vidhan means niyam, the rules. Vidhi and Nishedha, which Shastra gives, then you act. Otherwise you will suffer. You will suffer because of prarabdha karma and you will create more karma to suffer. So this human birth is given how to get rid of your past karma and also not get involved in karma now. So therefore we cannot just take shelter of prarabdha karma and say, well, it has to happen like this. That is for making the mind peaceful, so that you can act.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Anything else? So let's.
If I can ask, oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can ask.
Sir, if there is a follow-up, so in some cases where they say, based on what you said, Maharaj, then one has to first know dharma before any act can be done. So when people quote and say sarvadharman paritagya, don't, is that misinterpretation or misunderstanding of how one should conduct oneself?
What is the misunderstanding?
So without knowing dharma, someone says give up dharma. And so someone is happy and says, okay, I don't have to do anything because Krishna told me to give up all dharma.
Yeah,
So,
but what are you giving up? What is that you are giving up? What is that? You are not following anything. What is that you give up? To give up, you also when it is said sarva dharman paritajya, it also means sarva dharman paritajya. By lakshana you have to understand kake bhyodadhi rakshatam, that protect the yogurt from crows. So crow is not just crow, but also cat, dog, anything which will destroy. So sarva dharman paritajya means also sarva dharman paritajya. Not just dharma but also adharma. So now you say, well, I give up dharma but I do adharma, right? So dharma you don't have, so you are not giving up, so you have to give up adharma. So therefore it's problematic.
Yes, sir.
So you have to remember that dharma is lakshanic for adharma also.
Adharma. Yes.
Yeah, because Arjuna, he is telling to Arjuna is already ready to give up, not fight. There is no need for him to tell him adharma.
Thank you, Maharaj.
So kalevaram parshubhischitva tatte vrajokasha dure kshitva vyavasho nyadahan kashtha veshtitam. So now he says that these Vrajavasis, Vrajokasha, so what they did, Te Vrajokasha, means the Vrajavasis who were living there nearby, Kalevaram Parshubhischitva, they have to cut the body of Putana with axe, piece by piece, because such a big thing, either you have to bring a huge crane to lift, and then how will you burn such a big thing? If it is in 6 miles, then you have to put wood for 6 miles and place it on top, so you have to cut it into pieces, right? So she is troublesome even after she is dead. Like you put some fragrant thing in a bottle, like camphor, and then you remove it. Even when camphor is removed, the bottle has still a lot of smell in it. So like that, hypocrisy is dead. Still it is trouble. You have to cut it into pieces. And unless you burn it and turn into ashes, it can still come and create problem. So if a snake dies in India, then they say you must burn the snake. Otherwise it can come back to life. Because snakes are called Vayu Bhakshi. That they live on air. So little air they can come back. So that means so hypocrisy can become alive. That is the point. You have to really burn it or bury it nicely, otherwise it can come back to life and trouble you again. So that is the meaning. So Kalevaram Parshubhis Chitva. So they have to cut it into pieces with big axes. And Duram Kshiptva. And then they threw it far away. Avyavasho. Avyavasho means part by part. Cut and throw it. Cut and throw it. And then burn it. Nyadahan Kashta Veshtitam. Then put a lot of wood around it and burn it. So that's how she was buried. The cremation ceremony was done by Brajvasis for Putana. People say that if you die in Braj, you will get liberated. And they say like that. So Putana has to be liberated. She died in. She is killed by Krishna. Now she will be burnt here in Braj. So it's very fortunate situation. So that's why who is praying like that Asuras are better than some devotee. Forget, is it Prahlad praying or no? He is Asura himself, he won't say that. There in some prayer in Bhagavatam. So the Jiva Goswami comments there that what it means is the devotee is saying that these Asuras are so fortunate that they die seeing you. But I will die, I will not see you. So I'm not fortunate like that. So it's from devotional point of view, he's saying not that Asuras are great as such. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti comments, Vrajauksaha Antyaja Upanandadi Adishta. So who are these Vrajaukshas, these Brajvasis? These are called Antyaja. This is a class of people who are performing this kind of act of burning bodies or taking the dead bodies. So they were appointed by Upananda because Nanda Maharaj was not there. So his brother Upananda, he called these people that we have to burn this. Nisheshena Dehu. Dehu. So Nisheshena means completely they burnt the body. Punarjivan Shankaya. Why they burnt? He says because they had the doubt that she may come back to life. So Sheikh Maharaj jab janiye, jab चालीसा होए. There is a saying that Sheikh dies. He says you should consider that the Sheikh has died only when his chalisa has been done. Means 40 days have passed after his death. In between he can come back to life and trouble you. So that's why he says Punarjivan Sankya. So they have a doubt because these are Asuras, you never know what the magic they can play. Like there is this Asura called Bundasura, that if you kill him, then his blood falls on the ground, he comes back to life. So then he has to be killed by beating only without blood coming out. So these Asuras have some power. So Visdhara Jivanam Daheneva Upshante. So he says that these living beings which have poison in their body, so they are considered that they are dead when they are burnt. Before that, there is still doubt that they come back to life.
About the different communities that are considered Brajavasis, we have here the community of Nanda Maharaj, which would be of the Vaishya class, and now they're giving an order to an Antyaja class. And I believe elsewhere there's some references to Shudra communities also within the area of Braj, is that right?
Yeah.
And are there any Kshatriya community?
Which one?
Kshatriya?
Yeah, there must be. See, when it says that they are cowherd, means predominantly. Like here in villages, if you go, they will say this is the village of Brahmanas, this is the village of Kshatriyas. Means predominantly they are Brahmanas or Kshatriyas in that village, but there will be other people also.
Hmm.
They may not be, maybe one or two houses, but maximum will be belonging to them. So that's what it means. Now if you go in villages here in Braj, they will say these are all 30 villages of Kshatriyas, these are 30 villages of Jats, these are 30 villages of Gosthis, like that. Because they do panchayat, then they invite people to come. So they are divided like that.
So these Antijas, would they be quote unquote living within the same village?
Generally
as
they lived on the outskirts. This was the custom.
Babaji, I think the verse you referred to is Bhagavatam 3:24, which is quoted in Bhakti Sandarbha, where Uddhava says that he considers asuras to be better devotees. He quotes then, even the asuras are devotees more than us, because at the time of death they were blessed with the great fortune of seeing the moonlight face of Bhagavan.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was remembering somebody because he was feeling so much separation from Krishna. Krishna left. He said, these asuras are better than me. So verse 34. Dahiyamanasya dehasya dhumascha saurabha utthita Krishna nirbhukta sapadyahata papmanaha. So this is now the very surprising thing which happened, that when the body was burning, dahiyamanasya dehasya dhumascha aguru saurabha. So the smoke which came out, that was very fragrant, like the aguru. So it is a herb. So generally there will be smell of like meat burning. But it was a very nice fragrance smell. Utthita Krishna nirbhukta sapadi ahata papmana. Why? Because Krishna had touched her breast, not only breast but her body, and therefore she became sinless immediately. Sapadi ahata papmana. So her body became completely purified, even materially, that because sins, okay, if your body becomes free from sin, it will still have smell of the body. But here it is completely purified, even at the material level. So taddehasya Krishna mukha sparshotham mahimanam aha. So here the glory of Putana's body is being described because it was being touched by Krishna's mouth. It's such a great fortune that Krishna actually touched her body with her own mouth. So dahiyamanasya Krishna nirbhuktena Krishna krita stanyapanena. So he did stanyapan, he suckled the breast of Putana. Sapadyahata papma yasya tasya. Therefore, she became completely free from all. Papa here means all impurities. That even the dead body was smelling wonderful. Not anymore some rotten body. Putana loka balagni rakshasi rudhirashana jighansayapi haraye stanam dattvapi sadgatim kim puna shraddhya bhaktya krishnaya paramatmane yachan priyatamam kinnu raktastan mataro yatha. So it is now being described the good fortune of Putana and greatness of Krishna simultaneously. So Putana is Loka Balagni. She is the killer and killer also of children, means who are innocent. You kill a grown up person because he may have done something wrong or he has the power to defend himself. But Balagni, the boy, baby, who is innocent and helpless. So to kill such a person is very heinous crime. And how cruel one has to be to do that. Somebody who has not done anything to you and you kill, and that person is absolutely helpless, cannot defend himself or herself. So then you kill, then how cruel you must be to do that. So therefore it says this is Loka Balagni. She is Rakshashi by her class, and Rudhirashana. Her food is blood. So that's what she thrives on, survives on Rudhirashana. And Jighansayapi, she gave her sthana, her breast, to Hari Krishna, Jighamsaya, with the desire to kill him. And then still Dattva Apasadgatim, she attained supreme destination. So this is most amazing thing. This is very amazing, very wonderful verse which describes the contrast between Krishna and Putana. That here is a person who wants to kill a young 6 days old baby by giving poison, and here is Krishna who is giving Sadgati to her. So therefore it says, Kim puna shraddhya bhaktya krishnaya paramatmane yachan priyatamam kinnu raktastan matroyata. Then what to speak of those who are like mother to him, that they gave their breast with shraddha, with bhakti, with love, with devotion to Krishna, who is Paramatma. So what destination would they attain? So that is the contrast being shown, that if Putana got such a destination, what can be said about these who gave their milk to Krishna with love? And Priyatamam Kinnu, when they gave their most dear milk, Kinnu Rakta, and they were Rakta, means very affectionate, Tanmatroyata. So these are very nice works, but surprisingly, I don't know what is the reason, Madhvacharya and Vallabhacharya, they do not accept these verses. This 35, 36, and I think 37, 38, some 5-6 slokas here, they consider them as prakshipta. Which is very strange that such nice slokas are not accepted by them. So prasangat Kaimutya Nyayena Bhakter Mahimanam Aha Putana iti. So here, since the talk of Krishna is being described in this context, Sukadeva Goswami starts to explain the glory of bhakti by Kaimutya Nyaya. means this a fortiori argument, or what to speak of, where you contrast one thing with another and show the greatness. So he will show, this is one of the speciality of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He is the Kamutya Acharya. In many places he will bring out so many Kamutyas, no one else does that. So Kamutya is coming from the word Kim Uta. Kim means what, and Uta means like what to say. Uta is just another avyaya, but from Kimuta becomes Kamutya. So like what to speak of that. If this little child could do this, what to speak of a grown-up person like that. So he will show the Kamutya here. It says Putna. So he says Putna first of all, and then Jighamsayapi. She came with the intention to kill. Kimut Adasinyene. So now he says that she gave the breast with the intention to kill. Now what to speak if she had given the same breast but not with the intention to kill, with the indifference? That will be better. Kimuta taram shraddhaya. What if she gave the breast with shraddha? Kimutatam shraddhaya bhaktya ityartha, because shraddha and bhakti are in the. What if she gave the breast with shraddha and bhakti? Means faith and also love. So this is the Kamutya. That if she got this sadgati, when she gave the breast with the intention to kill, what she would have gotten if she gave without that intention to kill, and without love also, indifferent. What if she gave with faith, with shraddha in Krishna, what she would get? And what if she gave with shraddha and love, what she would get? That is the Kamutya. What to speak of, what to speak of, what to speak of. And then whom did she give? She gave to Haraye. So Hari he is taking here as like a common appellation of Vishnu, not specific to Krishna. So Haraye Bhagavat Pradurbhava Matraye. In general to Bhagavan. Kimut Krishnaya Paramatmane. What if she actually gave to Krishna? Means knowing Krishna is Paramatma, or he is Swam Bhagavan. Sarva Param Swarupa Avatarane. So Paramatmana here means that who is the source of all the Swarupas. So Vishastanam api. So she gave stana. Which kind of stana? Breast, which had poison on it. So Vistanam api, this api has to be applied everywhere. Jighamsaya api, haraye api, stanam api. So Vishastanam api, she gave the breast which was full of poison. Kimuta Vishayatara Vishaya Itarad Vastu. What if she gave some other object other than poison? Basically her intention is not to give the breast but to give the poison. Right? Breast is only a carrier, like you have a capsule. Right? There is a bitter tasting medicine, so you put it in a capsule. So she gave the bitter poison in the capsule of the breast. So basically she was giving poison. And then she got the Sadgati. So what if she had given something other than poison? Anything. Even if it was a cucumber or a potato, at least it's not poison. Kimutu taram priyam. What if she would have given something which is nice? Kimutu tamam priyataram. What if she would have given something which was nicer than nice? Some delectable thing. And kimuta atitamam priyatamam. What if she would have given her best, the best thing which Krishna likes? So start from the poison and up to. So Yacha priyam sva atmana. Krishna says, Yacha ishtama loke. So whatever is the best in the world. Yacha ishtama loke, yacha priyam sva atmana. What is dear to you also. So by giving that, you attain perfection. So this is what priyatamam means. Then Putana namna prasiddha rakshashi api. Then who is this who is giving this? She is Putana, who is a rakshashi. Kimut manushya. What if she was actually a human being? What she would attain? Rakshasi attained the sadgati. What if she was a human being? Kimut taram bhakta. What if she was actually a devotee? Now he is not saying what if she was a brahmana lady. You can make more steps in between. What if she was a rakshasi? What if she was an antyaja? What if she was a vaishya, kshatriya, brahmana, and then devotee? You want to make kamutya? He probably didn't want to get into it, left this for you. But you can make the garland of kamutya. So that's what he says. He says, this is the kamutya garland. So kimuta taram bhakta. What if she was actually a devotee and gave? And kimuta tamam rakta anurag yukta. What if she was not only just a devotee, but she was a devotee who had anurag, love for Krishna. Tatrapi kimuta tamam tan matara ati vatsala. What on top of that if she was actually on the position of mother? Because matara is plural. There can be only one mata. Mata, mataru, matara. So ati vatsala means full of love. Vatsaharan lilagata. So he says why plural has been used here, mataraha? Because see, mata is only one. How can there be plural mothers? So many mothers. He says because all these gopis, many gopis got the chance to be Krishna's mother in the Vatsaharan Leela. So therefore Matara. What if they are like that? And they are giving the most delectable item to Krishna out of love. So what position will they attain? Tasu api ati tamam anirvachyatvat Sri Yashoda tu durta eva pranati patri kritya eva sthapita. So now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that here Yashoda's name is not mentioned. So that is to say that Yashoda is so supreme among those who are like mother to Krishna, that tasu api atitamam, that supreme position of love she has, anirvachyatvat, that it cannot be even spoken in words what type of love she has for Krishna. Therefore, her name he did not mention here, because she is pranati patri. She is just to be bowed down with great honor. Durta eva pranati patri. That also from very far away, because she is so great. So kritva eva sthapita natu likhita. So he just kept this in his mind, but did not write the name, did not mention it. It is to be understood. Iti karana sampradana karma kartrupadeshu kaimutya mandali. So he says that here there are 4 types of kaimutyas. One is the kaimutya of the karana, according to the Vyakarana, according to the Sanskrit grammar. One is the kaimutya of the instruments, right? Other is the kaimutya of the sampradana, thing to whom you give. And then the third is the kaimutya of the karma, the object. And the fourth is the kartri, the agent. So agent, if you go from the previous, is like, it is Rakshasi Putana. And what if she was the mother and Yashoda? Then karma is that she gave the stan, poison. What if she had given the most wonderful thing liked by Krishna? And then sampradhan, that she gave it to Hari. What if she has actually given to Krishna, knowing Swam Bhagavan? And then karana is the jighansaya, api, with the intention to kill. So what if she has given with bhaktya, shraddhaya? So this is the whole kaimutya. So it's a contrast basically, that showing the greatness, compassion, blessing of Krishna, how compassionate he is.
Bhavesh Pranam, may I ask a question?
Yes.
So this verse, essentially the goal of this verse is just to glorify Bhakti, Yashoda Devi, Krishna as well. However, I have a question on Mimamsa. So we studied in Puru Mimamsa about this Nisheda. For example, in the Puranas there is a Nisheda about deity aparadha. One should not offer anything which is spoiled or anything to a deity. So this Putana here is offering poison, which is certainly this is offering directly to Sri Krishna. So that is even bigger aparadha. So now the question is that this aparadha should create. So this nisheda, it creates this nivartana inside the mind to not do it. But when one reads the story does not say that Putana went to hell because she, acted out of passion, she broke the nisheda and she suffered. The other story says that Putana, she got released from a terrible body and then she became like a bhakta. She became like a Vraja bhakta, which is a great reward. She did not even get Brahma Sayuja Mukti. She's got the best reward. So now, doesn't the story in some sense weaken the nisheda? I mean, it's not a vidya, it's not saying that you should go and offer poison to Krishna, but even then it's a story, does it not weaken this idea that you should not do aparadha against the deities?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So here the intention is not that, what you are thinking. The intention is, as he is saying, the kaimutya, that you have to think like this, that if Putana, who was a Rakshasi and who wanted to give poison to Krishna, and she attained such a position, then how wonderful is Krishna? And if I become his devotee, then how wonderful would that be? So that is the vidhi which comes from here. That I should not do this, because this is obviously not something which is liked by Krishna. Even if he attained this position by the power of Krishna himself, Prameya Shakti, not by her own qualification. So it is the greatness of Krishna, and if Krishna is so great, then I should become his devotee. So that is what is understood from him. Anything else? Yes.
At this point here near the end of the commentary about the name of Mother Yashoda not being mentioned, Chakravarti Pad is saying that Shukadev Goswami intentionally omitted it. Is that right?
Intentionally?
Omitted
Avoided.
the name,
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it says Natu Likhita, Ullekita.
Babaji Maharaj,
Yes.
why is Madhavacharya and Ramanacharya not accepting these verses?
Vallabhacharya, not Ramanacharya.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Ballavacharya. They're not accepting the verses.
I really don't know what is the real reason.
So are they saying it's not part of Bhagavatam, or are they just saying that, just glossing past it?
Yeah, they say these are prakshipta, means they have been added later on. So means they don't accept it. Such slokas are called prakshipta, means what you call interpolation. Also later on, this 3 chapters, this 12, 13 and 14, whole chapter, these 3 chapters they don't accept. Nonetheless, they comment.
Madhvacharya also doesn't accept these 3 chapters, or only Vallabhacharya?
Yeah, Madhvacharya.
Vallabhacharya says, I guess in one of the older editions, these 3 chapters were not there, and he is only taking these 1 editions to suggest that these 3 chapters were prakshipta.
Yeah,
Bhagavad.
yeah, obviously that may be the reason, but for this slokas also he says like that, but then he says that I will comment on them. He writes very brief comment because he says they are popular. Okay.